Yeah, hey guys, I want to show you a really quick new plugin that just came out last couple of days for Vantage that I think is really cool. And it does something really useful. So one of the big challenges that most of us face um, when starting a new directory is how to monetize it. We've covered this in many, many different possible permutations over the course of the content that I've put out. So I'm not going to recapitulate all that stuff here. But what I will say is that still, even with all the tips and tricks and techniques and all the different potential methods that I've offered up, people still find getting those initial listings monetized to be a challenge. So this plugin that just came out for Vantage, and I forget the name of it, but I'm going to have a link to it below. This is a live example from the theme or from the plugin maker. So I'll show you what it does. All right, so this site is carpfish.co.uk, and what you're looking at is Toddington Fishery. All right, so this pretty much looks like any other listing. And you're going to scroll down, and whoops, all this is blurred out. So you have the map is blurred out, the contact information here is blurred out, their social media is blurred out, and the additional info is blurred out. So the only thing that's really visible is the big header image and the description. So clearly, this listing has been added or seeded or manually added to the directory by the admin. So his strategy clearly is, and he's got a ton of listings, is that they are adding their listings manually and then reaching out to folks who are on the directory and saying, hey, you're on our directory. Would you like to pay for a listing? Now, that can be a challenge, of course. If you've already added somebody to your directory and they're already there, unless they're really seeing a big benefit in terms of traffic or leads or contact, people contacting them through your site, it can be a little bit challenging to persuade them that they ought to be paying for something beyond what they're getting for free. All right, this is just a really intuitive and obvious way of doing just that. So Toddington Fishery comes to your site, in this case, carpfish.co.uk, and he says, awesome, I've been added to this directory for free. Good deal. He looks at his listing, makes sure everything's okay, and he sees, wait, how come all this shit's not showing up? How come I'm not showing up on the map? My info here, what about my Facebook? And then essentially he contacts the admin, responds to an email, let's say, that told him he was here in the first place, or even better yet, the ideal scenario is he discovers himself in the search results, when he Googles himself, or somebody lets him know that they found him through this site, but they couldn't contact him because, this stuff wasn't clear. That happens. I mean, that's a real world scenario. It happens all the time. I get people all the time who discover they are on one of our directories by dint of searching for themselves. I can see they're searching for themselves because I have analytics, as you should have as well. So you can see that someone searches for Joe Blow when they are, in fact, Joe Blow. And then they find Joe Blow on the directory, and then they continuously check, obsessively for a couple of days to figure out why they are on this directory and why they're being recommended or why they are listed when they didn't do anything. All right, that's a very common scenario, as all of you who have directories will recognize. Well, if you've blurred out their information, which I've never done, because this hasn't been an option up to this point. Now it is. And so if that guy comes to your site and he's like, yo, I appreciate the fact that I'm on your directory, but how do I get people, to contact me if they can't see my stuff? And I say, Joe, essentially we're a small company, we're a small team, and our goal is to have all of the listings in ABC town or ABC niche. And that's a service that we provide to the town or the industry or the niche. But to incentivize folks to participate on a deeper level, here are like 10 things that we offer our featured listings or our premium listings, including the ability to have all of your information show up. So a really important little point here is you can decide which of these things to blur. So you don't have to blur all of this. You could blur just the map and leave this and this all intact so it's visible. You could blur just this and leave the map visible. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Like he has like the plugin maker, the guy who owns this site, by the way, has like 5 or 6 toggle settings that you can define what exactly is blurred and what is visible, what is obscured and what is not. So I think this is a really, really interesting and valuable plugin. Again, Toddington Fishery would come to the site and say, I need this stuff to be shown now. And they would just claim the listing, go through that process. They pay for whatever the fee is. In my view, you want to have more than just this information show up as a featured listing benefit. Of course, you could also tier that. So you could have this being a low cost, to pay $47 a year when to claim your listing, all of your information is visible. But to pay $97, you get that plus, and with that, and with a VIP listing or the platinum listing, however you decide, you get that plus, and then plus, right? So you just keep on stacking the value, as I believe is critical to this business. All right, so there you have it. Really interesting new plugin. I can't remember what it's called. Let's see if I have it somewhere in front of me. I don't, but I will obviously have a link to it. We are building Vantage directories. We have a 72-hour done for you service. So if you're interested in learning more about that, check that out as well. It's on my blog, and I'll have a little link in my course as well for those of you who are taking that. All right. I hope that helps, and have a great day.